Good afternoon. We are going to talk through operations with integers today, which from Algebra 1, you probably know that this means that we are looking at adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing when we have some numbers involved that are both positive and negative. So we have to learn and know our rules for this and know them well so that we do not find ourselves throughout the course of Algebra 1 making sign errors, which then will mess up the entire problem that you're working through. So if you look at the first question that I have written here in the upper left, it says -5 plus -8. So when we are adding two numbers, if they have the same sign, we are just going to add the values together and keep the sign the same. So -5 and -8, they're both negative. So I am just going to add 5 and 8. So 5 plus 8 would give me 13. And then I'm going to keep the sign. So since they were negative, the sign stays negative. Now I'm going to move over here to the upper right where we have -9 plus 2. So this situation is different. I'm still adding, but now I have two numbers that have different signs. One is negative and one is positive. When this happens, you want to subtract the two values and keep the sign of the bigger number. So 9 minus 2 would give me 7. And then of the two numbers I started with, 9 was the bigger one. So I'm going to keep his sign, so that's going to make this a -7. And so again, just to repeat that, when we're adding, if they have the same sign, add them and keep the sign. If they have different signs, subtract them and keep the sign of the bigger number. So now we're going to take a look at subtraction, but really subtraction is going to be just like addition for us because I'm going to apply a rule that you guys already know from earlier math classes. So when I am subtracting, I can change that into addition as long as I changed the sign on the number that came after the subtraction sign. So for example, on this one that says -5 minus 2, I'm going to change this to -5 plus a -2. So now I'm back to those rules that we just talked through. So these two numbers, -5 and -2, they have the same sign. So remember, when they have the same sign, we're going to add them. 5 plus 2 is 7. And then we're going to keep the sign the same. So that is going to stay a negative. Moving over here to the last one that you see on this screen, again, this is a subtraction problem. So I want to change it into addition. So I'm going to make this an addition sign, but if I do that, I also have to change the sign on the number that came after the subtraction sign. So this now technically says -6 plus a +1, which would be the same thing as me just writing -6 plus 1. That's the same. So these two have opposite signs. So remember, when they have opposite signs, one negative, one positive, I'm going to subtract the values. So 6 minus 1 is 5. And then I'm going to keep the sign of the bigger number. So my bigger number here was 6, so I'm going to keep that negative. So those are your rules anytime you're adding. And we have seen here that subtracting is really just another version of addition. So you're going to make that change every time so that you can follow the same rules all the way through. Now we're going to take a look at multiplying and dividing. So when you are multiplying and dividing, if they have the same sign, the answer is positive. If they have opposite signs, the answer is negative. So I will write that for you. So same sign means positive answer. If they have different signs, you are going to produce a negative answer. So let's take a look at how this works. So up here in the upper left, I have -7 times 9. So 7 times 9 is 63. And then in this problem, 7 was negative and 9 was positive. So according to my green writing in the middle, different signs produce a negative answer. So this would be negative 63. If I move over here to the upper right, I have negative 6 times negative 1. So 6 times 1 is 6. And then I had a negative times a negative. So same signs produces a positive answer. So my solution here is just positive 6. Now moving to the bottom left, I have negative 45 over 5. So remember that this is a way to write division. If it helps you, you can write it out differently. You don't need to, but just to help make sure we understand, this would be the same as me writing negative 45 divided by 5. So 45 divided by 5 is 9. And then 45 was negative and 5 was positive. So they had different signs, which means that my answer should be negative. So negative 45 divided by positive 5 is negative 9. So my last one over here, I have negative 21 divided by negative 3. So 21 divided by 3 would give me 7. And then both of these were negative. So since they have the same sign, that means our answer is in fact going to be positive 7. So you are now ready to move ahead in the module and work on the assignment that is there for you. It's going to have you doing something with a Google Sheet. So make sure that you read the directions carefully and follow what I'm asking you to do, because if you don't, you're not going to get credit for this assignment. Okay, it's not a difficult assignment, but you have to read the directions. Have a good day.